Today's guest on Straight from the Source is Brandon Slater, who is a local contractor, philanthropist, also my husband's boss. I'm just going to get that, put that out there.
Full disclosure.
Brandon, thank you for being here.
Absolutely, my pleasure.
Okay, so when I moved to Chico, I knew very little about the commercial construction industry. I didn't know how anything worked. Now, for you, you're a third generation contractor, right?
Yep.
Did you always knew when you were young? Was it kind of like I'm going to take over, or did you have that rebel phase where you thought maybe I want to be an artist?
Yeah, I wanted to be a firefighter for a minute.
Okay.
I remember going on a tour as a kid and being like, "Oh, this is so cool!" And I wanted to get into alternative. In college, actually, I wanted to get into alternative energy, like solar and stuff like that for a little bit. And
nuclear fission.
Yeah.
What about that?
It could be. I was kind of into that for a minute.
Yeah.
I actually declared my major at Chico State as business at first and then ended up changing to construction management a couple years in. So
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, now you build fire stations.
Yeah.
And probably energy something.
Yeah, we put solar on lots of things.
And I'm sure that like a business, knowledge in business helps you since you now own a business, right?
Yep. Yeah, and really, the way our business is set up, we don't self-perform a ton, so it's much more about relationships with owners and architects and clients and things like that than it is, it's about hiring the right subs and working that side of things. So it's just a little different than like your traditional, contractor who's out there doing a lot of the work themselves. So yeah, it's a little bit different business model. You have to have larger projects to justify. I call us a paper contractor because we don't self-perform a whole lot.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I hear that a lot from people in the community where, because I think that something I didn't understand before was that like a lot of times for the government jobs, it's not like they get to say, oh, I really like this company, we're just going to hire them, right? You have to say, hey, what do you think you could do this job for, right? And the lowest bid essentially would win.
It's kind of a wild process, but it's basically you get handed a set of drawings and a set of specs, and you get about a month normally to dig into it, figure out how you're going to build it, get prices together, get quotes from a whole bunch of subs, which that's also like on bid day. It's due, like our bids are typically due at 2 o'clock on a Tuesday, and we we get all our sub quotes within 8 hours of the bid.
Yeah.
So we're going through like 200 or 300 bids in 8 hours, figuring out who we're going to put the team together, and then at 1:59, there's a person standing there at the county or the city or wherever jurisdiction we're turning in the bids at.
Yeah.
And we tell them a number, $35,227.57.
Right.
And they write it down, turn it in, and then 5 minutes later, they're sealed bids.
Yeah.
So and then the clock starts 2 o'clock. They can't receive any. They take everybody into another room, sealed bids. They open them up. They read off the numbers. Whoever's the low bid gets the job, and 2 weeks later, you breaking ground and you're rocking and rolling.
Oh my gosh, it's like the price is right, except for maybe you lose money if you get the price wrong.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Yep. So, it's just a different world doing the hard bid public stuff, and that you're held accountable for exactly what the design says and what the specs say you're supposed to build. And I jokingly say we're just dumb contractors in that sense, because if it's wrong, you more often than not you get paid to fix it.
Right.
And it's not really like your liability as far as the design goes. The weird part is about half of our work is design build private work where everything's our fault.
Right.
And we're responsible for doing all of the design, and we're responsible for just making sure we take all the information in from owners and architects and everybody and get it all right. And then ultimately we, submit a number, and we're held responsible for that number unless the owner changes something, which they often do.
Right.
But, it's really our responsibility to have asked all the right questions and, make sure that we give them a bid that we can stand behind. And we have to work through all the problems of the job as well.
Right.
So, anyways, yeah, it's just different.
There is so much. Okay, so you own this business, right?
Yeah.
And then you have all these different projects going on at a time. You can't have your hands in everything at all, at every moment. But still, it's your name, it's your face, it's
Yep.
your reputation, and your money at the end of the day.
Yep.
So how do you get the right people in place that you trust, where you don't feel like you have to micromanage?
I would say probably number one thing is hiring, like, character is like the most important thing for me. So, I feel like I've got to trust these folks that are out there on the front lines doing all the things. And it's like, we have our way of doing business, and, one of the things we say, it's not really like our official motto or anything, but it's like, we do the right thing even when it hurts. And it's like, I got to know that, like, hey, when you mess up, you just gotta be like, hey, I messed up, and we're gonna make it right. I'm gonna have their back. They're gonna realize that everybody else is gonna, hey, when you mess up and you just cop to it, whatever it is, or if there's a problem, it's gonna cost a bunch of money. It's kind of like, we just gotta get it right.
Right.
And the money stuff in my head, it's like the lowest priority. It'll work its way out. I mean, sometimes jobs don't go perfect, and you lose money on them, and that's just life.
Yeah.
But especially a small community, it's like your reputation is everything. So just trying to.
That's kind of how I feel too. A lot of times, like with our industry, usually it doesn't cost money when we make a mistake, unless somebody tries to sue us for getting something wrong. But regardless, at the end of the day, people make mistakes, right? Maybe some information was, told to the reporter the wrong way, or whatever it was. Maybe we just misheard.
Yeah.
But we have to be accountable. We have to own up to it, and I'm never afraid to go on air and say, hey, we have a correction to make. Yep. Because it's like, the bottom line is trust, and you want people to know that, hey, you own your mistakes, and try to make fewer and fewer of them.
Yep, and we mess up all the time, and it's more about how you deal with it when you mess up than the actual mess up itself.
Right.
So.
And that's because we're humans, right?
Yep.
And even one day when there are AI people filling in all the jobs, AI models instead of humans, they're going to make mistakes too.
Oh, man, we're going AI, huh?
It's coming, right?
No,
Have you implemented that at all?
We use it as a tool. I think that, definitely with a seatbelt. I'm definitely, I would not say I'm a super early adopter and like throwing in, like, I know people that they'll throw plans into it and all these things, write me RFIs, do takeoffs, and I've played around with that.
Yeah.
But then I go do my own takeoffs, and I go and so far I haven't got to the point where I trust it enough to like set it free and like go do stuff without like very heavy checking, and it absolutely like helps crafting emails and like some. There are some things that
it makes good birthday cards.
Oh, yes. Yeah. My wife made our Christmas card this last year with AI, and it was scary good.
Right.
And it sounded like us. It was so it's interesting.
Yeah.
I absolutely, it's a great tool.
Yeah.
Just one of those things you got to kind of fact check it.
You're not laying anybody off because of ChatGPT yet.
Yeah, not unless they send me some garbage that's created by ChatGPT. And then won't admit to it. That would be the bigger thing. Is it's like, fine if you use it and don't claim it, but then if you call somebody on it and they're like, no, that wasn't. Yeah. Find out it was. It's like, well, you can't lie about stuff.
Yeah. So you have. You do a lot more than just run this business. In fact, I knew a few things, and then when I started kind of doing a little research on you, I learned even more. And I can't believe you have time for that, plus to be a dad, and husband. Let's talk about maybe just the Boys and Girls Club, first of all. What is your involvement there?
I was on the board for a minute, but like you said, family stuff. Their board meetings were during the day, so I had to cut that one loose. I'm still on their assets committee.
Oh, okay.
Which is basically their unpaid contractor.
Oh.
So I help them with different construction projects around, and then probably the bigger thing is just helping them with fundraising efforts and events and stuff like that. And just, What
motivated you to take an interest in that particular organization?
Gosh, my mom invited me to Pasta on the Plaza, probably 10 years ago, and just started hearing, hearing about what they were doing. And as I dug in a little bit more and started hearing more and more just stories of kind of the role they play in our community, just kind of fell in love with Rochelle and Joe and, Scott, a few of the guys, folks over there that are running that place, and just I just think it's so important to, I had great parents and a great family that supported me, and it's like just realizing it's like not everybody has that, and the Boys and Girls Club is that for so many people.
Yeah.
So I just fell in love with those guys. I think they just I kind of have a heart for. In general, I would just say for like the least of these kind of thing, and I would say I consider the Boys and Girls Club as my like preventative side of my of that world, and then work with more of the homeless stuff is the other side of that. It's more the reactive side of I see the Boys and Girls Club as you get them young, and hopefully they won't end up in that that later. Phase of not having a house or something. Yeah.
And speaking of, your parents, those who didn't know your father will probably recognize the name, as you mentioned, with the Howard Slater Navigation Center. Was named in his honor. We lost him, 2 years ago now? Almost 3 years ago.
Dang. Time flies.
And he is the original son of Slater and Son, right?
Correct. Yep. I'm the grandson.
And so, yes. So, let's just talk a little bit about your dad and the kind of person he was and kind of how that motivated and inspired you, and with not just the construction but also the philanthropy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely big shoes to fill, and he was always just very community oriented person. I think he loved our community really well. He was kind of a board junkie, as I have fallen into that same role with being on a few different boards. Very involved in like industry stuff, and it just to me he just showed me that being a business owner and a leader in our community is like that's how you do it, and you help out. Folks that aren't as well off or have as many resources as we have, like just definitely have a role in helping those folks, but also like industry stuff, like a healthy construction industry, a healthy business industry. That's like why I'm on the Chamber of Commerce board and done the Valley Contractors Exchange board and the Chico Builders Association board. It's like being able to like work with other folks that are in the same industry to make the industry as a whole a healthy industry. I think it makes just doing the work that we do more fun and healthier. I think just more efficient for everybody.
Yeah.
I don't know. Does that make sense?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I lost my dad when I was like 26, I think, and I thought that we were so different. And then as the years passed after I lost him, I realized more and more how much, oh my gosh, I am him.
Yeah.
We have so many personality traits, and the things that drive me now, were instilled in me because of him.
Yep.
Did you feel like when you were here and when you were working with and for your dad, did you guys butt heads a lot, or were you always pretty well aligned?
Yeah, we did. I feel like my dad did a really good job as far as, one, when I graduated Chico State, he wouldn't let me come work for him. He was like, you need to leave town, go work for somebody else. So that was genius, in my opinion, as far as my own growth, to go work for another company that was not all that much larger than us down in the Bay Area. So it was a fairly small company down in the Bay Area. Went and worked 5 years for them. So, and then when I came back, my dad was definitely getting towards the end of his career. I think that if, and I was never set on coming back. I think that there was a chance that I loved it down there. And just timing, I think, worked out really well. The company I was working for, actually, the owners decided to retire. It was kind of right in the middle of the recession. So I helped them sell everything that they owned. I was one of the last non-owner employees, like in the office. I sold my own desk on my last day of work. It's kind of funny. And anyhow, that was a great experience. And then when I came back, my dad, he gave me just the right amount of like, I've seen succession planning where the parent will just lob it all on their kids and then they fail because it's just too much for them because they can't handle it.
Right.
Or I've seen the other direction where like parents won't let go and they try to like micromanage. And I feel like my dad did an amazing job with that because he was there for me. He kind of let me, because my dad had never done the public side of things, that hard bid world, and that's all I did down in the Bay.
Yeah.
So when I first came back, he really let me, kind of like helped me build that part of the business. So the first few years, it was just me putting that side of the business together. And we also, right when I came back about 15, 16 years ago, we had a huge concrete division that we were doing at that time, where we were just, as a subcontractor, we were self-performing concrete. And we ended up shutting that down about 6 months after. So we got down to a pretty small, I think we had 10 employees. We went from like 100 employees to 10. And then, so it was nice in that I was kind of able to rehire a new team that were more mine. The relationship was primarily with me rather than with my dad. So that was just a great timing thing. So I don't know. I went off on so many tangents there. I'm not sure if I even answered your question.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And then, now I have 4 new questions.
Yeah.
So, but real quick, I have to ask you, have you ever considered the iconic mustache?
I put sticky ones on, like that are like the handlebar mustache, and I looked at myself in the mirror and I was like, oh man, I always thought I looked more like my mom and not like my dad, but if you put a handlebar mustache on me, I can definitely, there's quite the resemblance. It's funny because somebody just this weekend was like, oh, you should grow a mustache or whatever. And I was like, I'm not there yet, but maybe someday.
Oh my gosh. Danny, my husband, wants to so bad. And because he's like, well, you know his style, right? He'll just kind of let the beard grow out for a little while and then just shave it. It's like less work and maintenance. But every time when he's shaving the beard, he leaves the mustache on and he'll take some pictures. He wants it so bad, but I'm like, I'm sorry, no. Not if you're married to
my dad pulled it off.
He did.
Not too many people can pull it off.
Special person. Yes.
So.
Now, okay, your mom also is very hands-on in our community in terms of like philanthropic efforts. Like I know she's pretty involved with Torah Shelter still, right?
Still, yep. She does the Empty Bowls fundraiser for them every year. She's been doing that for, 15, 20 years.
Yeah.
She used to do the Christmas tree auction. Not sure, that kind of dwindled off at some point.
Yeah.
And she's just, she's another, just like my dad, just loves our community well. Definitely has a heart for kind of the least and folks that are struggling. I feel like just as a kid, I remember my mom would, she was a teacher, and she would essentially bring kids home. It's like, like we're struggling or needed help. And like, we had a few different, kids stay with us for various periods of time.
Oh my gosh.
And she always had, just these kids she would latch onto that she saw something special in and that needed some help. And she's just helped so many kids over the years. So
I think there's really something to it. And I don't think most people learn this early on enough in life, is that like, when you're feeling low or people have depression or just maybe a sense of like purposelessness. A lot of times just doing something for somebody else will really get you out of that. And it's almost like addictive of just like, hey, doing some good and seeing the difference that you make in just even one person's life. I feel like not enough people realize that, how great it can be and can feel.
There is certainly a selfish side to it, because I 100% agree that, man, it is fun helping people out, whether it's with your own like labor or with writing a check to some organization that you really support and you see doing good work. So
that's the key takeaway for this, is that really if you see someone who's doing a bunch of good things, they're really just selfish. They just want to feel better.
Well, I'd say that's a small part of it.
So what about, so for your kids, is this the kind of thing that they just kind of watch you and you hope that they, make their own choices in life, or do you sort of teach these values to them?
We should certainly try. I would say, actually, I think my son, Revan, I think
he was here talking about some fundraising
he came in right after my dad passed. He did a fundraiser for the Torah Shelter, kind of helped out with that whole campaign, raising money. So that was pretty cool just to see, see his heart. And yes, I absolutely, try to, at least show them and model that to my kids.
Yeah. They're young.
And we talk about it, but I feel like, my kids are going to be their own individuals.
For sure.
And I'm sure some of that stuff they'll pick up and see as a cool thing. And some of it,
right.
it might,
and life goes in phases, you know, like if not now, maybe later, we'll see. Yeah.
Yep, 100%.
So, of course, life has to have space for you. You get really busy with work and all the good stuff you do in the community, but you got to have some fun, right?
Yep. Oh, yeah.
I know that, let's see, Danny was telling me that you did some sort of adventure maybe in Mexico via ATV? Or
I'll say
side by side.
I'll say UTV, which would be the more the side-by-side world.
Yes,
the Razor would be the brand name, like Kleenex or whatever.
Yeah.
This last year we did a 2,300-mile jaunt through Mexico, down Baja, basically down to Cabo and back.
Did you do that with like your wife and family or some friends?
No, this is more of a friend.
Trip.
This is a guy's trip.
Yeah.
So
what
that was super
What was that
fun.
like?
It was so cool. Just and it was. We'd stay at hotels every night, so it's like, and we had a guide, so it wasn't like super roughing it,
right?
And we also had 2 mechanics with us, so like when rigs would break down,
right?
It was, they would take care of pretty much everything.
So maybe I'm gonna sound like I don't know, brainwashed by the news or whatever, but like I've been to Mexico, I've been to different places, but I usually stay kind of like in the more resort area because you hear about the cartels and that sort of thing. Were you concerned for your safety ever?
No, but I will just say I'm like, I'm low on like the discernment of like those type of things.
Sure.
I'm always just like I'm like
you had some guides with you, so
eternal optimist. I just see the best, try to see the best in everybody. So, no, I was not concerned. My wife was. I say my wife was plenty concerned for both of us. So.
Yes.
But no, I would also say like Baja is much safer than like the mainland.
Okay.
So, and the guides that we hired, are very familiar. They live down there. They, and there's certainly areas that you want to avoid.
Right.
And it's like, we don't go out at night. There's definitely, there's things you can do to be safer.
Yeah.
But,
situational awareness, right? Just keep your eyes open.
There's places you shouldn't go in Chico or in the United States or California or whatever at certain times of the day or whatever. I mean, I think that, I feel very safe down there. So
okay.
Yeah.
Now, what about the safety of like these vehicles, the UTVs?
Yeah, that's way more dangerous than the cartels are going to get you.
Yeah. I'm told by my boys that they're totally safe. Don't worry, you'll be fine. And there's roll bars and all that stuff.
There is roll bars, and you can definitely roll. I've actually never rolled one, but I've been with people who have rolled them. I did crash one for the first time a couple months ago. Stayed on all fours, but just completely wiped out the suspension. And so yes, they are very dangerous. They, it's like fire, right? It can be used for good, and it can also be super dangerous.
Right.
So it's kind of like that in my head, and you got to have a healthy respect for the rig, but they go 90 miles an hour through the woods. Right.
So, okay, as a dad with children who are going to be teenagers who want to get into all of this sort of thing, how are you going to balance that? Like, okay, we want to have fun, but maybe stay safe.
I am. I'm definitely on the I would rather them do dangerous things with me, where I can teach them how to do them better and safer.
Yes.
Yeah, that's much more the direction. I mean, my kids already drive, or at least 2 out of 3 of my kids already drive.
They do.
Side-by-sides, and they're slowly learning, and
Yeah, okay, good. So. Yeah, I mean, hey, travel is fun too. I'm sure going to Mexico was an incredible experience, but there are so many cool places here, even just in Northern California, where you can explore, and whether you're just riding through the wilderness or like hunting, fishing, that sort of thing. Yeah. Do you do that locally much?
Yeah. Like this last weekend, we were up in Almanor celebrating my birthday and Father's Day, and we took the side-by-sides out. This next weekend, I'm going with my daughter and one of her best friends and another dad, and we don't even know exactly where we're going to go. We're just going to drive we get about 120 miles of gas, so we're going to drive about 50 miles into
See where it takes
somewhere we don't
Yeah.
even know, and we're going to set up tents and
Yeah.
just hopefully near a stream, bring some fishing rods. And,
I love that. Yeah, good. Yeah, Northern California is so incredible. I'm from Southern California, which actually really does have a lot more wilderness and beauty than most people would know. But yeah,
you just got to get a little
yeah, you just have to kind of go into
yeah.
the hills a
Yep,
little
yep,
bit.
yep.
Yes. But yeah, there's so much to do here. So we talked about you being on several different boards
Yeah.
and just kind of like donating your time to these different things that you care about. Have you ever gotten involved like politically to any degree or thought about that?
I would say political adjacent.
Yeah.
See, I've never, I shouldn't say I've never thought about running for an office. Maybe at some point I would run for something.
Yeah.
I'm very involved in lots of things politically, more on like an advocacy level. I work really hard at, I think just naturally I'm more of a conservative person, like conservatively politically. But I work really hard at understanding the other side of the and I probably spend more time with them and working with them to try to understand like what they're into and like try to kind of bridge that political divide that we see so much these days that I think is super unhealthy. So
Yeah.
I've kind of made it my personal mission to try to bring people back towards the center and
Yeah.
more towards just this idea of like you can like strongly disagree with somebody but still like respect them and still work with them on say something different that we don't agree, or let's find things we agree on. And
Yes.
that's kind of my general approach to politics. So I'm always trying to find avenues in which I can kind of make those things work.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I think local politics is such an interesting thing. Like to me, sometimes when people start talking to me about what's happening at the White House or what, I'm just like, I
Glaze
can't.
over,
There's
me too.
right, yes, but like I get excited about local politics because that's how we have a voice. Like people, people can get involved and they can actually have a say in the local issues. And I'd love to see more people who actually live in our communities and are passionate about them get involved. So we'll see.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like the sewer rate thing that just came through. Like,
what's the deal with that? I mean, it's got to be done, right?
Sure. So yeah, I was really involved in it. I through the chamber, worked pretty hard to try to get folks to reconsider the vote initially because it was kind of one of those things that just came up pretty last minute. What we felt like, I mean, it was a huge amount of additional, we'll call it, whether it's tax or ratepayer burden on our community of the increase of, it was initially 180% increase or 215% over a 5-year period. And just, looking at the dollars of that was just like, whoa, this is huge. You can't just, I mean, it was less than a month from the time it first was presented at Finance Committee till, it got voted in, and I'm up there saying, whoa, less than a month. And it's like, that's, this is like $30 million a year we're talking about asking our community for to pay for the sewer plant. And not to say it wasn't needed. But anyways, spent the last couple months really digging into that. I spent much more time trying to understand a little bit of time trying to understand what the capital improvement projects were that were needed. Some maintenance things, some regulatory things, plant upgrades, replacing old sewer pipes, all those kind of things. A little bit of time on the projects, and we were able to get them to come down to a little bit lower number. It was 134 million. They did come down to about 105 million or so in capital improvement projects over 5 years. So I feel like that was a partial win. I also think it was a partial win in that they spread there does need to be a big bump initially to kind of, because I do agree that we're behind. So they spread that out over 2 years. I had a different plan that I think would have got them what they needed. And I think long term it was more sustainable. But I'm kind of in a spot where it's just like, hey, they've made their decision. I'm not going to whine about it. I feel like they should have included a portion of financing to lessen the burden. And they're 30 to 100 year assets that we're talking about using that money for. So it's the type of thing that using financing, in my opinion, would have been the better way to go. But they're the ones running our city, and I feel like there's definitely, you got to just respect their decision, and we're just kind of got to move on.
Right. So. I mean, at least you were able to contribute.
Yeah, I feel like we made a little bit of a difference. I'm still licking my wounds just a little bit. I felt like, anyways.
Right. It's got to be frustrating when you put so much time and effort into something, you know, and to see elected officials make a different decision. But, that's democracy, right?
It is.
There's lots of voices.
It is. And, still got to work with all those folks, and we're going to work on lots of more things in our lifetime. So,
what do you think about that whole downtown revitalization plan?
Oh man, I have lots of thoughts on it. I'm currently, and you're working against my current plan, but my current plan is to let everybody calm down a little bit.
Yes, right.
Which I think is happening. And my plan is here, maybe towards the end of the summer, is to bring it back up and start talking about it. And I think it's just a portion of, like, what do you want the downtown to look like physically? But I think we're also, like, I think it's part of a bigger plan of, like, economic development for our community. Audrey Taylor is working on an economic development strategy for our town with her group, Chabin Concepts, that the city's hired. So I feel like, what do you want our town to look like is a component of that. Yeah. And I think we need to have a plan, and we still need to keep hashing it out. And it's like, there's going to be, at least I look at the downtown thing as, there was kind of three camps. There was, like, the camp that doesn't want any change, just wants it to stay the same way. And then there were kind of two camps of, like, put the bike paths on Main and Broadway, and Salem and Wall, where, like, to me, that's like, I put them in three essential camps. And it's like, to me, I really like the idea of, like, I don't think, I like change. So to me, and maybe it's because I'm in construction and that change is part of my business, right? So, but I like the idea of taking those two groups that were, like, in between, that wanted something done that would likely result in hopefully getting a grant, maybe. Take those two groups and try to figure out, okay, what's the compromise, and let's try to figure out something of, hey, how can we make the town, how would we reimagine downtown if we got to start fresh and, like, rebuild it? And I'm a bike rider too. I ride my bike downtown all the time. I'm coming from the west side of town, so everybody was all talking about the north-south bike lanes, but for me, the east-west ones, nobody was talking about, and those ones are way more important for me, because those are, like, right now I have to go all the way down to 7th with my family to, like, go around, which is great because we normally stop by Schubert's. Sure. But to, like, get to the park, we don't love going down, like, 2nd is it has a bike path, but it's a little sketch. Yeah. So, anyways, like, I felt like both of those two plans had really nice connection east to west. Yeah. So selfishly, I like that, but I think bigger thing is I think there's some lessons learned. I think on both sides of that got a little nasty, really, and I think some mistakes were made on both sides, and I feel like we could have got to something, but we didn't. So but we shouldn't give up either. Yeah. I think one of the biggest disservices we can do in our community is, it's like, just give up, right? And like, do nothing. Like, I think the other thought I had is like, I compare it to Valley's Edge. Oh, gosh. And I'm like, that's a situation where it's a political thing, and it's like, you get into these, like, lefty, righty, like, and I almost think, like, like Valley's Edge, like, there was, people fighting it. They didn't want it. Yeah. And it's like, and nothing gets done. Right. And same thing with downtown. It's like, to me, both plans are good, and they should both be done. And it's like, it's so hard to fight for doing good than it is, like, against somebody doing things, whatever it is. Yeah. So it's like, that's the tough thing for me, is I just hate it when politics get in the way of, like, doing good stuff. Right. And I feel like both of those situations are that. Yes. And I'm not saying that either, like, the downtown revitalization, like, whatever, the different maps that were created, I'm not saying any of them were the right plan, but I think having a plan, like, I'm definitely and the like doing nothing is not good. Like,
right.
downtown needs
just
some.
because you can't agree doesn't mean do nothing.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
downtown needs some help. And yeah, if the way it works in California is like you got to get grants often.
Right.
And you kind of got to like there's a lot of people that were like, "Oh, you can't let the state of California dictate how we're going to, rebuild our community." And it's like, well, yes, I agree you don't want to like completely like go too far off of what you think is the right thing.
Right.
But also like
You got to be realistic.
yeah, like
we need the financial help.
It'd sure be nice to pump $50 million into redoing our downtown.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
think
it's our tax dollars.
Yeah.
We should get a piece of it back.
Absolutely. So I feel like, anyways, I think it's one of those things. I think that there is a desire of our community to imagine what our downtown could be.
Yeah.
From a like aesthetics or flow or physically what it would look like.
Yeah.
The infrastructure. I think that there's a desire in our community for having something that is at least freshened up and reimagined. Like I think bikes is just a small portion of it.
Right.
I think it got to be the big political thing.
Yes.
That everybody was like, oh, it's against
Right.
bikes against no bikes, or you bike haters, and it's
I
like
know.
nobody even rides their bikes, and
Yeah.
it's like whoa, like
Yeah.
where did we get so sideways?
Yes. We even started like the lower thirds that we make on the TV screen. Like,
yeah,
should
yeah.
we just call this story Bike Lane Controversy? Because
Yeah.
that's what it felt like at the end, a fight over bike lanes.
Yeah,
But-
and it was so much more
Yeah.
than that. And
Yep.
I love the idea of just an active downtown. And to me, I think we've got a very, I think Chico is, probably look it up, but I think Chico's a very bike friendly community. And I think that there are a lot of people that are into bikes. Like it's not the primary mode of transportation, but the state has a ton of money for stuff like that. And if we can use some of that to like help, there's definitely some missing parts through downtown. If we could use that, get some state money to redo that, I think, and come up with like a new, vibrant downtown, I think that'd be awesome. I love wider sidewalks. I know there's some people that get concerned about like during construction, oh, we're gonna, lose our business because people won't come downtown. Like, I don't know. My experience has been like we've done a lot of car dealerships, and car dealers are always like, oh, it's gonna be really bad during construction.
Right.
And I found it to be, or my clients have told me it's quite the opposite. People are attracted
They're
to.
curious what's going
Yeah.
on.
Yeah. So.
Well, cool. My closing question
Yeah.
for you will be, whether it's for your company or at the city level, what project is actually happening in the near future that you're most excited about?
Ooh, it's just project we're actually starting next week for Enloe.
Okay.
It's a new cardiovascular and imaging outpatient center on East Avenue. It's on the north side of East Avenue.
By Blue Oak, by the school.
By Blue Oak,
yeah. We
but
just drove past
back
that.
closer towards like the parking lot that has Harbor Freight in it, and then there's the rehab center that Enloe already owns.
Yeah.
There's 5 acres right there that we're going to be building a new 2-story, medical clinic there.
And there's such a need for healthcare
Yep.
services in our community. So cool.
Absolutely.
Good.
Yeah.
Brandon, thank you so much for being here.
That was
It was
fun.
great talking to you.
Yeah, you too.
Thanks for listening today. I decided to offer this podcast after enough of you let me know that you wanted a deeper dive into certain stories than you get on our TV broadcasts. We elect certain people to represent our voice, but who are they really? My hope is that this podcast answers that question. I love your feedback, and I want to know who you'd like to hear from next. Just fill out that comment section and leave us a review on Apple Podcasts, YouTube, or Spotify.